Why is it that when a total stranger drops their coffee in a cafe, we immediately rush over and say something like, "Oh, please do not worry about it."
Oh, yeah. We always say, like, it happens to everyone.
Right. We're so kind to them. But when we make a simple, harmless mistake ourselves...
It can be so brutal.
Exactly. The voice inside our head just immediately calls us a complete and utter failure.
It's a profound contradiction.
Yeah.
I mean, we have this bottomless well of grace and forgiveness for the people around us, but
we act like a cruel dictator to ourselves.
Yes, exactly. We really do.
It makes you stop and think, you know? Well, welcome to Westbrook English Channel.
We are so happy you are here with us today.
Yes, so incredibly happy you are sitting here with us. This is the space where we practice clear, everyday English, but we use it to focus on something deeply important.
Right. Your own self-improvement.
Exactly. We want to help you expand your vocabulary and at the exact same time help you grow into a healthier, happier person.
That is the goal.
So, today's deep dive is entirely focused on a concept that sounds simple, but is actually, a lifelong practice. We are learning how to truly love yourself.
And we are not just going to talk about thinking happy thoughts or like taking a relaxing bubble bath.
No bubble baths today.
Right. We're going to look at the actual mechanics of self-love. We are taking you on a journey from the inside out.
I love that. So what is the roadmap?
Well, we will start by looking at the voice inside your mind. Then we will look at how the digital device in your hand, your phone, hijacks that voice.
Oh, the phone is a big one.
It really is. From there, we will look at how you interact with the people in your real life, and finally, how you treat the physical body you live in.
That is such a great structure. From the mind to the phone to the social world to the body.
Yep, 4 simple steps.
But before we take that first step inward, we really have to address a giant roadblock.
A very common myth, actually.
Right. There is this myth floating around society that self-love is somehow selfish. Like, people think that if you focus your energy on yourself...
You are somehow stealing energy away from your family or your friends.
Exactly. Or your responsibilities.
Which is, frankly, completely backward if you understand how human energy actually works.
Right. It's like the airplane rule, isn't it?
Yes. Think about the safety instructions on an airplane. They always tell you to put your own oxygen mask on first, right?
Yeah, before helping the person next to you.
Exactly. Because if you are suffocating... you are completely useless to anyone else.
Wow. Yeah.
So self-love is not selfish. It is the fundamental requirement for a sustainable life.
That makes perfect sense. Because if you are operating on an empty tank...
Exhausted and secretly angry at yourself.
Then any help you give to others is just going to be built on resentment.
Precisely. You cannot pour water from an empty cup.
You cannot pour water from an empty cup. I love that phrase. So if we want to fill our cup, we have to start with the most intimate space we have, which is our own minds.
Right. Let's talk about that harsh internal voice.
Because I think a lot of people confuse self-love with having high self-esteem. They think, if I am just more confident, then I will love myself.
That is a very common trap.
Yeah.
But the sources we are looking at today draw a massive psychological line between self-esteem and self-compassion.
They are completely different things.
Completely different mechanisms. I mean, self-esteem is essentially a measurement of how you think you stack up against other people.
Okay, so it's a comparison.
Yes. It was tied to your performance, your achievements, and, external success.
Right. Like, if you get a perfect score on an English exam, your self-esteem spikes.
Exactly. But if you stumble over your words in a meeting, your self-esteem just plummets. It goes way down.
So it is highly conditional.
Very conditional.
It sounds to me like self-esteem is essentially a stock market.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
Yeah, like it's a market built entirely on external validation. When people are praising you, your stock goes up.
But the second you make a mistake,
the market crashes.
Yeah.
And you feel completely worthless. It is incredibly unstable.
It is unstable. So if self-esteem is the stock market, then self-compassion is the gold standard.
The gold standard, I like that.
Yeah, because gold holds intrinsic value regardless of what the market is doing.
Right, it doesn't fluctuate.
Exactly. Self-compassion does not care if you fail the test or pass the test. It is simply the unconditional practice of treating yourself with warmth and understanding.
Just because you are a human being experiencing a difficult moment.
Right. But we have to ask, why is that so difficult to do?
Yeah. Why is our default setting so harsh?
Well, it actually comes down to human evolution.
Really? Evolution?
Yeah, psychologists call it the negativity bias.
The negativity bias. Let's break that down for our learners.
Sure. So thousands of years ago, when early humans lived in caves, Our brains evolved to hyper-focus on threats and mistakes.
Oh, to keep us alive.
Exactly. If you ate a poisonous berry, your brain needed to beat you up over that mistake so you would never, ever do it again.
Right, because your survival depended on it.
Right. Our brains are hardwired to amplify our failures to keep us safe. But today, you are not running from tigers.
No, definitely not.
You are just trying to learn a new language or navigate a busy workday. But your brain is still using that ancient survival mechanism to punish you for minor modern mistakes.
That is fascinating. So the brain actually thinks it is keeping me safe by being mean to me.
Yes, it's a misguided protector.
Wow. So if we are fighting against thousands of years of evolution, how do we actually practice this gold standard of self-compassion?
You have to use a psychological intercept. We call it the best friend test.
The best friend test. I love the sound of this.
It is incredibly practical. So the very next time you make a mistake, let's say, you send an important email to your boss with a glaring spelling error.
Oh, no, I have done that.
We all have.
Yeah.
I want you to pause and listen to your internal monologue. You will probably hear something like, "Oh, I am so incredibly stupid. I always ruin everything."
I'm going to get fired.
Yeah.
I know that voice very well.
Right. So when you hear that voice, you apply the test. Ask yourself, would I ever look my best friend in the eyes and say these exact words to them if they made the same mistake?
Oh, wow. The answer is absolutely not.
Never.
Never. If my friend sent a bad email, I would never say, "You are so stupid and you ruin everything."
What would you say instead?
I would say hey, take a deep breath. It is just a typo. Everyone is rushing today.
Right.
Your boss probably will not even notice, and if they do, you will just apologize. You are doing great.
Notice the shift in your tone. It's so different.
Yeah, it really is.
You naturally offer perspective, comfort, and grace to your friend. So the best friend test forces you to recognize the cruelty of your own inner critic.
That is so powerful. Once you realize you are speaking to yourself in a way you would never speak to someone you love, you just have to stop.
Exactly. You must become your own best friend in that moment of panic.
I love that.
Yeah.
It is such a simple, practical tool for our English learners to try today. But even if you master that gentle voice in your head,
It feels like it doesn't stand a chance once you open your phone.
yes, you open your phone and immediately invite a million perfect strangers to make you feel inadequate.
It is the ultimate trap. Our internal monologue is so heavily influenced by our digital environment.
You can build up all the self-compassion in the world, but the moment you open a social media app,
You are throwing yourself into a machine designed to trigger comparison.
and as the saying goes, comparison is the absolute thief of joy.
It really is. Our sources use a very interesting contrast here, talking about the difference between a behind-the-scenes reality and a highlight reel.
Oh, let's explore those phrases a bit because they are fantastic English concepts.
Yes, let's break them down.
So in sports, a highlight reel is a short, edited video that only shows the absolute best moments of a game.
Right, the amazing goals, the incredible catches.
Exactly. It completely cuts out all the boring parts, the mistakes, and the players just sitting on the bench.
And on social media, people are essentially acting as their own public relations managers.
Oh, that's so true.
They're only broadcasting their personal highlight reels. The beautiful vacations, the perfect outfits, the smiling families.
They are filtering out the stress, the debt, and the arguments.
Meanwhile, you are sitting on your couch in your messy living room.
Probably feeling tired or maybe a bit lonely.
Right. You are living in your behind-the-scenes reality, the unedited, messy truth of daily life.
And your brain is trying to compare your messy reality to someone else's heavily edited highlight reel.
It is a completely rigged game. No wonder it destroys our self-compassion.
It triggers a massive drop in dopamine in your brain, doesn't it?
It does. You suddenly feel like you are failing at life simply because your everyday reality does not match the artificial perfection on your screen.
But let me push back on this just a little bit.
Sure, go ahead.
Because we hear a lot about curating your feed for inspiration. Like, what if I follow an incredible chef to inspire me to cook healthier meals?
Okay, yes.
Or, what if I follow someone studying English to inspire my own language journey? How do we know when scrolling stops being inspiring and actually starts hurting our self-love?
That is a great question.
Yeah.
The difference between inspiration and toxic comparison lies entirely in your physical energy when you close the app.
By physical energy. Okay, explain that.
So True inspiration is energizing. When you watch that chef and you put your phone down, you feel excited to go into your kitchen and chop vegetables.
Right. You feel capable and motivated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But comparison is draining. If you watch someone speaking perfect English, and when you put the phone down, you feel heavy, discouraged, and embarrassed by your own accent.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That is not inspiration. That is self-inflicted harm.
That is such a clear metric. Does it give you energy or does it steal your energy?
Precisely.
So what is the actual mechanism to fix this digital drain?
Well, the sources recommend something called a 24-hour digital audit.
A digital audit. Let's define audit for the listeners. An audit is usually a formal review, right? Like checking the finances of a business to see where the money is going.
Exactly. But here, you are auditing where your mental energy is going.
I see.
For the next 24 hours, pay strict attention to how your body feels when you look at different accounts. If you see a post that makes you feel inadequate or makes you feel like you are somehow behind in life,
You remove their access to your mind.
yes, you mute them or you unfollow them.
Now, I understand unfollowing celebrities or influencers. That's easy. But muting real-life friends feels socially dangerous.
It can feel that way, yes.
What if it is my sister-in-law or a coworker who is constantly posting about their perfect life and it is making me miserable? I feel incredibly guilty unfollowing them. It feels rude.
That guilt is completely normal. But this is exactly why the mute function was invented.
Oh, right. Muting is different from unfollowing.
Yes. Muting someone is a quiet act of self-preservation. They do not get a notification. You remain connected, but you are no longer allowing their highlight reel to interrupt your peace on a daily basis.
That is a huge relief. You are just taking control of your digital front door.
Beautifully said. Taking control of that digital front door naturally leads us to the next layer of our journey.
Because if muting a friend on an app causes us anxiety, saying no to someone's face in real life is even harder.
So much harder. We are moving from digital boundaries to real-world social boundaries.
The sources call this self-love as radical boundaries.
Right, and this is where we have to completely deconstruct that soft myth of self-love.
That bubble bath myth.
Exactly. We imagine self-love as just lighting a scented candle. But true self-love is actually about building a fortress around your peace.
A fortress. So a boundary is simply an invisible line you draw to protect your time, your emotional energy, and your physical capacity.
That's it, exactly.
But, for our listener who is naturally empathetic, who wants to help everyone, setting a boundary feels like a rejection.
It can feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah. Like if a coworker asks me to take on their project or a friend asks me to help them move furniture on my only day off and I say no, I feel like a terrible person.
Well, let's look at the mechanism of what happens when you say yes out of guilt.
Okay.
When you agree to do something you do not have the capacity for, you are instantly generating resentment.
Resentment. Wow.
Yes. You might be smiling while you help them move furniture, but internally, you are frustrated with them for asking, and you are angry at yourself for agreeing.
That is so true. I have definitely felt that.
And that resentment eventually leaks out and damages the relationship anyway. A forced yes is just delayed resentment.
A forced yes is just delayed resentment. That is incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
So when we say no, we are actually protecting the relationship.
Exactly. You're being honest.
But how do we deliver that no without sounding aggressive or rude?
The trick is to prepare your language in advance, so you do not freeze in the moment.
Oh, preparation is key.
You need to use a specific I statement. This is a sentence that focuses entirely on your own limitations rather than blaming the other person for asking.
And there's a brilliant English phrase for this. Let's give our listeners a practical tool to memorize.
Yes. The phrase is, I have a lot on my plate right now, so I cannot commit to this, but I appreciate you thinking of me.
Let's break that down contextually. I have a lot on my plate.
Right.
If you picture holding a literal dinner plate and people keep stacking heavy food on it, potatoes, steak, vegetables, eventually the plate is going to break.
Or you're going to drop it.
Exactly. So when you say, I have a lot on my plate right now, you are painting a polite picture that your life, your schedule, or your stress levels are currently full to the absolute edge.
It is the perfect professional and personal boundary.
Yeah.
And the best part, it requires zero justification.
You do not have to explain what is on your plate.
Nope. You are simply stating a fact about your capacity. I have a lot on my plate right now, so I cannot commit to this.
That is the firm boundary.
And then you soften the landing. But I appreciate you thinking of me.
It acknowledges their request, validates their need, but absolutely protects your energy.
Listeners, write that phrase down.
Yes. Practice saying it out loud while driving or looking in the mirror. I have a lot on my plate right now, so I cannot commit to this.
Having that phrase ready is like having a shield in your pocket.
I love that. So, we have built boundaries around our minds with the best friend test. We have built boundaries around our digital world with the audit.
And we have built boundaries in our social lives with our I statements.
Which brings us to the final and perhaps most intimate layer of self-love.
The physical vessel that carries us through the world. The somatic approach.
Right. Somatic simply refers to the physical body. And this is a very sensitive topic because the pressure to look a certain way is immense.
It's everywhere.
We are constantly bombarded with messaging about body positivity. The idea is that you should look in the mirror every single day, look at every flaw, and aggressively tell yourself that you are incredibly beautiful and perfect.
And while the intention behind body positivity is good,
for many people, it backfires completely.
it absolutely does.
Because if I wake up feeling exhausted and maybe I am sick and my clothes do not fit right, and I force myself to stand in the mirror and chant, "I love my body, I am a glowing model."
Your brain knows you're lying.
Yes. It creates this uncomfortable friction in my mind. It feels like toxic positivity. You know, faking a smile when you actually want to cry.
Psychologists call that friction cognitive dissonance.
Cognitive dissonance.
Right. It happens when your beliefs do not match your reality. If you force yourself to declare love for an appearance you are currently struggling with, your brain rejects the affirmation.
And you actually end up feeling worse.
Exactly. You feel like you are failing at being positive.
So what is the alternative?
This is why the sources advocate for a completely different approach called body neutrality.
Body neutrality. The word neutral really takes all the pressure off. It means stepping out of the fight entirely.
That's a great way to put it. If positivity is about thinking you look great, neutrality is about removing the focus from your appearance altogether.
Okay, so it's a shift in perspective.
A profound shift. Body neutrality teaches you to view your body as an instrument rather than an ornament.
An instrument, not an ornament. Let's define that. An ornament is something you hang on a wall just to be looked at and judged for its beauty.
Like on a Christmas tree.
Right. But an instrument is something you use to create music or to do work. It has a function.
Precisely. When you adopt body neutrality, you stop evaluating your body's worth by its shape, and you start appreciating it for its function.
That makes so much sense.
You don't have to love how your stomach looks in a swimsuit. You just have to acknowledge objectively that your stomach works hard to digest your food and convert it into energy.
It is simply a biological fact. It is such a massive relief. It changes the entire conversation. Like, if my body is an instrument, I do not feed it water to make my skin look like a magazine cover.
No, you feed it water because the instrument is thirsty.
Right. And it needs hydration to function. I let it sleep because the battery needs recharging, not because I am trying to fix my face.
Exactly.
So how do we practice this neutrality in our daily routine?
It requires a very brief, intentional pause. We call it a somatic check-in. It only takes about 10 seconds.
10 seconds. I think we all have time for that.
You simply stop what you are doing, focus your attention on one specific physical function that is happening right now, and acknowledge it without judgment.
Let's actually do this together right now.
Let's do it.
If you are listening to us while walking to work, or maybe you're doing the dishes, just pause. Take one slow, deep breath in and let it out.
Now focus your attention on your lungs. Notice how they expand and contract.
Yeah.
Your lungs do this thousands upon thousands of times a day, entirely in the background, without you ever having to ask them to.
They are quietly keeping you alive.
Or shift your focus to your legs. Think about the mechanical strength it takes for your legs to carry you up a flight of stairs or down the street.
Just taking a moment to silently say, "Thank you, lungs, for processing oxygen today. Thank you, legs, for carrying me."
It's powerful. You cannot be agonizing over your appearance when you are in a state of deep, objective awe at your own biology.
It grounds you immediately in the present moment.
That is the ultimate goal. When you respect the function of your body, self-love transforms from a vague concept into a tangible daily practice.
We have traveled through so many layers today, from the mind to the phone to our friendships to our own heartbeats.
It is a lot of information.
It is. Which brings us to our Monday morning challenge. We never want you to leave this deep dive feeling overwhelmed.
Right, because growth does not happen by changing everything at once.
True self-improvement is about small, sustainable shifts in your habits. So your challenge this week is to select just one specific tool from our journey today.
Do not try to do them all.
Just one. Maybe you will try the best friend test the next time you drop your keys or make a mistake at work.
Or maybe you are ready for the 24-hour digital audit, and you are going to bravely mute that one account that always drains your dopamine.
Perhaps you will practice your new boundary phrase, "I have a lot on my plate right now," to protect your weekend energy.
Or maybe you will just take 10 seconds before bed to thank your lungs for breathing. Pick one and commit to the practice.
As we wrap up today, we want to leave you with one final, overarching thought to quietly reflect on.
We have spent this entire time talking about reclaiming your energy.
Yes.
Energy beating yourself up, energy you lose comparing your behind the scenes to someone's highlight reel, energy you give away to people who drain you.
Imagine all of that lost energy.
Now ask yourself, if you actually implemented these boundaries and you got all of that energy back, what brand new, beautiful goal would you suddenly have the capacity to pursue tomorrow?
Oh, wow. What could you build with all that reclaimed energy? That is such a thrilling question.
It really is.
Let me close out our time today with a simple affirmation. Remember, an affirmation is just a statement of truth to anchor you. And the truth today is this: your worth as a human being is absolute and unconditional.
Unconditional.
You do not have to perform, achieve, or exhaust yourself to earn the right to be loved, especially by yourself.
It has been a true privilege exploring these deeply human concepts with you.
Absolutely.
Continuing to show up and practice your English while confronting these challenging ideas is a massive act of self-love in itself.
We are so incredibly proud of the work you are doing. Thank you for inviting us into your day, practicing your English, and dedicating this time to your own self-improvement.
Yes, thank you so much.
Do not forget to subscribe to Westbrook English channel so we can keep growing together. Have a beautiful, compassionate week. Remember to treat yourself like your own best friend, and we will say goodbye for now.
See you next time.